Hello and welcome. Welcome to this next 30 minutes where we'll meditate together over this medium of electronics that we have that connects us in a way that respects or acknowledges the vast web of humanity that we're part of and that has been interconnected for a long time between people and people, the 7, 9 kind of layers of separation that used to connect us is now maybe much smaller. So thank you for being here. And today, going back to basics, and basics is not meant only for beginners. In some ways, the longer we've meditated, the more we appreciate the basics as being quite profound. And today, we want to talk about mindfulness of the body. And the body and mind are not so distinct. It's hard to really tease them apart, especially in our experience of the body, in our experience of the mind. If we step back and talk about it, think about it, we might be able to come up with concepts and ideas that keep them distinct. But in our direct experience, here and now, and the body is the way we experience the body, sense it, feel it, is inseparable from the mind. For one reason is that we don't know exactly the beginning and end of the mind, but perhaps we can think of it as being this inclusive of all the neurological connections that exist throughout our body. And it's only with the nerves all over our body that we can feel the body. So those nerves are part of the mind, and how they fire and how they report to the rest of us is contributes to our constructing the sense of our body. And then we have nerves that pick up all kinds of things. Nerves are the body, the experience of the body is kind of like an antenna that receives information from the world around us, invaluable information through the body, the ears, the eyes, the nose, the taste. And it's also an antenna that transmits information to the world around us and transmits information within us, to ourselves, to the conscious mind where we register what's happening. And what the antenna picks up is amazingly complex or extensive, not just sensations on the skin, but deep in the body, biochemical, physiological processes that are picked up in the heart and the stomach and all over. And the more we can rest in the body, the more we can be aware of the body, the more information we have, but more important, the more we are at home, at ease, relaxed in the body, the more the body will support us to be at ease, to feel peace, to feel safe. And some of the challenges we have with the body is the ways that our conscious mind transmits information to all over the body, that there's something to be afraid of. Fear, anxiety, desires and aversions. So assuming a meditation posture, and part of the posture that you take for meditation, let it be a posture that confidently shows your body, your mind, that you are confident. Confident, and for now, for these minutes in meditation, that you're safe. If you have any anxieties and fears that are operating, chances are the object of it is not present here and now in your direct experience. And so it can be very profound to let the body help you to feel at ease for these few minutes, to feel deeply safe here and now. And if we relax the body, a confident, postured body, it's remarkable the support and the care it provides to the mind. Gently closing the eyes and taking a few moments to feel your body in whatever way you feel it. Scanning through the body. And if you feel any anxiety in your body, trust it to your body. The body is quite a phenomenal antenna and support processor for how we feel. Rather than churning on in the mind, feel from the inside out the body. And as you exhale, to relax the body. Relaxing the muscles of the face. Softening in the shoulders. Softening in the belly. As you inhale, feel the expansion of the rib cage, the torso, the belly. With with the inhale and the expansion of your torso. Feel your body become larger, fuller, having more room to feel what's here. And to soften, relax as you exhale. Perhaps relaxing the thinking mind with every exhale. Whatever restlessness or agitation there is in the control tower of the thinking mind, with every exhale, letting that agitation settle more, settle down into the body. as you breathe to feel how the body experiences itself, centering attention in the body rather than having it centered in the control tower of thinking. Softening, calming in the body, so the body begins to transmit feelings of being safe, here and now, feelings of being at ease, peace, here and now. you exhale, as you inhale, spread your awareness through your body. So that whatever challenges you have in your body are resting in a wider space of the body. And as we come to the end of this sitting, to gently, softly sense and feel your body. Maybe the body that is just beyond the edges of breathing. Whatever sensations associated with breathing, gently spread your attention beyond. Spread your attention into the parts of the body where there's a feeling of calm, ease, and to whatever degree, however minor, you have feelings of calm or ease or feelings of being safe. Let that register through your body. Let that register in your heart, in your mind. And then to consider how wonderful it would be if others could feel safe, could feel at peace and calm in their body, in their hearts, in their minds. That everyone who is anxious and afraid could be deeply reassured, right down into their marrow, deep in their body. And may it be that how we live our day contributes to others feeling safe, others feeling that they can be at ease, at least with us. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. And may all beings be free. Thank you. So hello and welcome to these teachings. This week the topic is the Four Noble Truths. And after doing the introduction yesterday, I'll start today with the first Noble Truth, who is the Noble Truth of suffering. And as also as an introduction to it, the guided meditation that I just did was on mindfulness of the body. And the reason for that is that the suffering, that the approach to the suffering, to really know it well, is not so much through the mind, but rather through feeling it experientially here and now in the body. To know what's happening in the experienced life that we live, not in the imagined life, not in the projected life into the future, not in the remembered life, but here and now, the experienced life, the lived life of now. And for many of us, it's really through the body that we can feel the greatest sense of aliveness, the greater sense of being connected to life itself and to ourselves, and the most useful way of being present for the first noble truth, which is suffering. And so the first noble truth, as it's come down to us, is a very simple statement. It says, there is the noble truth of suffering. And, that's it. And so that requires a little bit of an unpacking. And first, the word noble. It's one translator translated the ennobling truth of suffering. That there's what it implies that suffering by itself is not ennobling or noble or special. What's ennobling is the possibility of meeting suffering honestly, seeing it clearly, and finding a path through it to the other side, to bring suffering to an end. But to go through it is to really know it well, to really understand it well. Maybe to see whatever suffering we have is a messenger. And what is the message? What is it that needs to be learned? What is we need to be present for here? And many people, when they have challenges in their lives, they have all kinds of things they're grieving or distressed about or stressed or afraid. One of the invaluable supports that can happen is to have a friend who will listen, be accompanied by someone for a walk in the park or sit and have tea together, and the friend doesn't judge, doesn't try to fix, but really takes in, experiences compassionately, fully, in a friendly way, in a caring way, what you're experiencing. You can explain, you can say what's happening, and your friend just receives it. And and it's so good to be received, to be known, to be heard, and by someone who's calm and settled and available. And so in the same way, this ennobling attitude of how to be with suffering is to be our own good friend, to really stop and be able to take time to really know what this suffering is. And that has to be done with a lot of care and love and attention about how much we can tolerate, how much we can open up to at any given time. But this is the message of the Buddha, is that the direct way to freedom, the direct way to peace, is not by avoiding suffering, but learning how to stop, to recognize it. I sometimes, in a silly way, say that the bumper sticker for Buddhists, it would say, "I stop for suffering." Not to suffer more, but to really kind of be present for it and offer this ennobling attention, to really know it and see it. And the bumper sticker doesn't have any pronouns, as I talked about yesterday. And so we stop. If others are suffering, maybe we stop to be their friend, to accompany them for a while, around it, what's going on, and support them. If we're suffering, we stop and pay attention. And there's many ways of stopping. I mean, sometimes it's meditating, sometimes it's sitting having a cup of tea, sometimes it's going for a walk in a calm, relaxing place, so we can really take time for it, as opposed to just go headlong into our busyness, or sit and just kind of have a way of sitting and lost in the fretting, lost in the preoccupation, lost in the anxiety about what we're experiencing, our reactivity. So this ennobling, the noble, is not inherent. Nobility is not inherent in suffering, but it's what we bring and how we are with suffering. And then suffering itself, the word in Pali is dukkha, and it's a difficult word for some English speakers, because partly the word suffering implies, really big things, catastrophes, and partly because in that we're coming to an end of suffering, it seems like some suffering we have is we don't want to end. It doesn't seem right to push it away or stop it, or it just seems like it's an inherent part of life that a parent, maybe who loses a child, would feel emotional pain. And are we supposed to not have that? The dukkha that we're talking about here is the emotional pain that arises from our reactivity, not from the deep empathy, not from the deep sense of connectedness, that where there is no attachments, there is no fear, there is no hostility or conceit around it. It's possible to experience certain kind of emotional pain in the world, be heartbroken, for example, and be at ease with it. Not only be at ease, but feel it's part of the fullness of a relaxed, free life, to feel both the joys and sorrows of this world. But the dukkha, the suffering of the First Noble Truths, is the suffering which doesn't have to be there. So it's a subset of all the different ways that we can feel some emotional pain. It's the emotional pain that comes from clinging, from craving, from hostility, from being caught in something, being contracted around something, where the desires are so strong that there's a compulsivity to the desires, where there's a compulsivity to the hostility we have, that there is something extra that's going on. And as we start being honest about our suffering, stopping and getting to know it, and we're experiencing it through the body, we start being able to tease apart that suffering, that emotional pain, which is fine to have in a certain way. It feels like this is part of lived life, versus the kind of suffering which clearly comes from some kind of reactivity, some kind of attachment that we're really holding on to, that we don't have to hold on to, that we're better off without. And so the importance of mindfulness of the body is that through mindfulness of the body, we're learning a number of different things. We're learning to be present for our discomfort, our emotional discomfort, in a relaxed way, hold it in the body, letting the body process it, letting the body reveal to us what's there. That is more holistic than if we only are understanding our emotional discomfort from our thinking mind. To only have it from our thinking about it through the lens of our fear, hostility, or self-preoccupation in and of itself. And so we're kind of breaking the hegemony of the reactive, self-preoccupied, contracted thinking mind by dropping down into the body to feel our discomfort, emotional discomfort, and to learn how to be non-reactive to it, to learn how to be present for it in a very simple, open, caring way. to be present for it as if we're our own best friend, and learning to breathe with emotional discomfort, learning to feel it. And this is a tall order. It's not easy to do this, but the rewards of doing it are phenomenal. The rewards of being able to have a non-reactive attention that doesn't add or subtract, doesn't push or pull, is not rejecting or accepting, but just there and feeling and being present. Then we can begin seeing more clearly. Then we can see at some point that kind of emotional discomfort, pain, which is kind of deeply part of something precious as a human being. Maybe it's part of love and care, and that it doesn't, that it's okay to have in a certain way, that it's not troubling, but rather troubling, it's actually in a certain kind of way enriching, because it arises from deep in the heart, deep within us. We see that on one hand, and on the other hand, we experience that, oh, this is extra. This has to do with my reactivity, my attachments. This has to do with my rejecting or my wanting something so strongly that I'm filled with disappointment and anger that I can't have it. This has to do with my heartbreak that is not because the discomfort of losing something, but rather it's heartbreak because my whole sense of self was tied up in this thing, this person, this experience. And I was really attached to that in order to whatever reason. And so we start teasing apart that which is kind of comes with human being in a relaxed and maybe meaningful way, and that suffering which is extra, that has to do with what we're contributing. And so the first noble truth, the truth of suffering, there is suffering in this world. There's no way that a human being is not going to have some kind of emotional pain going through this life. And can we clarify for ourselves so that what kind of emotional pain we're having, so that it's not diminishing in us, it's not draining us, it's not harming ourselves even by the reactivity by which we feel it. And so the path to that, one of them, is to get to know the suffering well. Stop for suffering, but learn how to do that. Learn how to be present through the body, to relax, to breathe with the emotional discomfort, until there's a settledness and openness that we can now begin seeing, receiving from the body almost the information that tells us whether this is healthy for us as part of a healthy life, or this is unhealthy to have this kind of caught upness with what we're doing. And if we do that, then it's ennobling. We receive the deeper message, what needs to be healed, and then what needs to be allowed. So the first noble truth, the noble truth of suffering. And then tomorrow comes the second. Thank you.